Right now, as qualifying is basically complete. We're just waiting for it to come on through. Let's ask everybody to rise up out of your seats, take your hats off, and enjoy the singing of the national anthem by Alicia Shipman.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, everybody getting lined up and ready to go here. See some of these beautiful cars down on pit lane, getting all set and ready for action. Let's get into tonight's starting grid. You see Joshua Susie with a time of 29.310, part of Hazy Days Racing on the pole tonight. That's going to be a bit of an alert factor to the rest of the field there, as Susie very, very tough. James Wallace in the 51 going to start on the outside of row number 1. You got Matthew George starting on the inside of row 2 with Joshua Johnson right there on the outside. In row number 3, it's Brian Dublé and Mark Figueroa. In row 4, Matthew McCann, Stephen Massey. Chris McCullough will be starting 9th. Jim Westerfield 10th. Jeremy Stutzman in 11th. John Mikowski in 12th. And Kenny McCullough Jr. rounding out the field. All right, starting to pull off and getting ready to go here. Susie, early favorite here, points leader, pole sitter. I mean, he is in a great spot to lock himself into the final 4 here. Other guys got some serious work to do. I mean, especially those bottom 5 guys. Let's get another look in before we go at those points. When you look at third through or fourth, I guess it is, Jim Westerfield, Joshua Johnson, Matthew McCann, Chris McCullough, Brian Dublé. Those guys really all fighting for one spot. I mean, you can throw Wallace in there in third and say they're fighting for 2 spots. You know, they're fighting for all the spots really, but you know, this is the way it's looking. Susie looking pretty good here to be able to lock into the finals. Truck pulls off the track. Susie leads him down with Wallace on the outside. George and Johnson
Green flag.
are challenging. Great job by Wallace on the outside, hanging in there on that start. And he's going to drop down, or maybe he's not. He's going to stay up there. Surprise out of James Wallace. was finally getting down there on the lower part of the track. Matthew George all over him. Johnson's got Figueroa and Massey right there. Comes Stephen Massey making a move underneath Mark Figueroa, so put Massey up already 3 spots on the night. He is definitely on the move. Let's hop on board and give you a look at Stephen Massey here. You see him, he's getting runs and he's not shy. He's going to take some of them. He's showing that nose around, trying to rattle the cage of Joshua Johnson. Really nice corner from Massey there from everybody though. See him come down low. This could be trouble. The 57 in a bad spot. He gets stuck up high. I think Massey's going to complete the pass underneath him here. Wow, great run on the outside by Johnson. He continues to do battle with Massey. Going to beat him into the corner. Little wiggle up high and Massey goes on by, so put Massey up 4 spots now on the night. He's up to 4th spot in front of Johnson. Back here you got Stutzman fighting with Chris McCullough. Looks like McCullough already on the move. We've seen this out of Chris before. Usually a fast car, not the greatest qualifier. Probably get a little better qualifying time. We might see Chris in victory lane more often, but currently in 9th, starting to work his way forward. Right in front of him, Jim Westerfield. Westerfield needs a decent night here. Up one more, you got Dublé, and then we're up to the rest of the guys. Figueroa, and there's Johnson with Massey right in front of him. Right now, still Susie out front, but James Wallace hanging right with him tonight. Susie not going anywhere here during the early portion of this race. Lap 8 of 167. You might have noticed we're alone in the booth tonight. There might be a little quiet time. Some of you might think that's a good idea anyway, but Brad Patterson having some internet difficulties, some connection issues down there in the Florida area right now, so we'll see if he does manage to get on or not. But during the race, we'll choose to watch a little bit here and there and comment when necessary. Right now, this battle up front raging on. I mean, Wallace, George, Massey, Johnson, all right there with Susie. It's got to be putting a little bit of fear on Susie because, I mean, he's kind of used to getting away. I mean, he is a long-run guy, so we'll see how this run plays out. Massey squeaking underneath George here. Got a bit of a run in front of him. It's Wallace getting a little bit loose off the corner. Massey looking pretty solid here. Can he get this done? Looks like he might. Down in the preferred line through 1 and 2, and there's going to be a little contact up the track. Goes George. That's going to lose 2 spots there. I don't know if there was contact or not, or George just evaded him. But that's actually going to bring Joshua Johnson by both of them. So good job by him. Good job by Massey and George. I mean, Massey checked up a little bit. George evaded him. Good job by everybody there. Of course, our leaders love seeing this as they're walking away a little bit now. George underneath of Johnson as he's starting to get that power down a little bit. Couldn't quite get it all down onto the asphalt there though, but down into 3. Looks like he's got the preferred line, or does he? Johnson doing a great job on the high side, gets a great run off. He's going to beat him down into the corner. Meanwhile, right behind him, Figueroa looking for room. Here comes Dublé into the action. Where did the 11 come from? Brian Dublé joining this battle. Check in on our leaders here. You got Susie. There's Wallace right there. Excuse me, a little too much on the pop here tonight. Matthew George, Joshua Johnson still battling. George has got by him. Now it's Massey looking again to make this move. You see the car yawn out of 2 there, but sticking to the track still. Massey looks pretty well hooked up there. I mean, that's about as good as you can do on the bottom, but Johnson, well, he's really powering on the high side, doing an excellent job up there. He's moving up higher and higher. I think he's finding something he really likes up there. I don't blame him. He's looking really good as he continues to hold Massey down there. Massey probably getting frustrated, but this is just excellent racing here. Behind him, it's Dublé starting to make a move on Figueroa. Can't get it done. But Massey and Johnson still going at it, lap after lap. Couple of people out there on YouTube watching tonight, looking for Jeff Johnson. Go Joshua. All right, and go Westerfield from the Princess Crystal. Excellent. Keep an eye on those guys. Let's get a look in on them and just see here. Of course, Johnson in this battle, and it continues to rage on. Just unbelievable. Can't even break away from this. It's side-by-side action, lap after lap here. Massey finally gets in there. There is a whole load of cars now behind them after all that side-by-side action, really slowing down both guys. Let's check in on Jim Westerfield there in the 35, see his progress. Still in 10th place. We know Jim will save his stuff, though. We'll see if he makes a move later. Back up here to the battles. You see Dublé starting to make a move. McCullough's moving up the track. Dublé too deep. He's way up the track. Stutzman going to come underneath him. So Stutzman is the man kind of come winning out of that. He's up 3 spots on the night. Figueroa right ahead, battling here with the 60 of Chris McCullough. Oh, and he's loose. Figueroa saves it. Good save. Stutzman, I think, backing out a little bit, and that might have been a smart move there. So it looks like we had Kenny McCullough Jr. Something happened there with him, and he has took that car to the garage. So Kenny McCullough Jr. probably out for the evening, hard to say. Well, we got a minute. Let's go ahead and get a replay and see what happened to Kenny. See the 03 here coming out of 4. No real problems here. Through the tri-oval, and it just break. Wow! And he's stuck in the wall. That is night over for the 03. That was a very strange move that car made. Back to live action though. Chris McCullough up past Joshua Johnson, who's starting to fade a little bit. Stutzman looking underneath. So Stutzman, the next guy to try and do the tango with the 57 here. Stutzman right around the bottom. And Joshua Johnson the exact opposite. Stutzman, that car is rolling the bottom nicely. Wow. You see Chris McCullough drift up the track. Think he had to get out of it. Stutzman right on by. So Stutzman continuing to pick him off. Move him now up to 5th place. So Jeremy, that's up 6 spots on the night. Big moves from the 71 here on the long run. Back up front. Joshua Susie leading this thing. Wallace in second, hanging in there. George starting to crawl him back a bit. And then Stephen Massey, he's got a little lead over Chris McCullough and Stutzman. Chris McCullough battling back on the outside here. I thought this one was a little bit over, but him and Stutzman gonna keep trading positions here. This time it looks like McCullough gonna settle in behind him going into 3, so Stutzman might have it for good this time, or at least for a few laps. As this race goes on, I'm going to take a short break here. We'll leave you on live action here on Exciting, so hopefully it catches some good action for you. We'll be back momentarily. looking back in the action, what have we missed? It looks like Susie coming down pit road right now. So Susie, I'm assuming from the lead, there's Joshua Johnson also on pit road. Matthew George now coming in. So everybody here doing pit stops on lap 42 of 167. Looking like 2 stops to the stage and another 2 runs, 1 stop in the first stage, 1 stop in the second stage. As I confuse myself in the booth. John Mankowski coming down pit road, part of McCullough Motorsports. Matthew George getting his service done. But right now, it's Stutzman out front, the new race leader. Here comes, we got Wallace and Chris McCullough coming in. So as everything filtering through, it's going to be Stutzman and Westerfield, your last guys on the track. And no real surprise here. I mean, the 2 of these guys, Jeremiah Stutzman in the 71, Westerfield in the 35, known long-run guys, known strategists. But looking at the 35 here, we got a little damage on the right front. And that could pose a problem for that 35, although it's rolling the corner really well there, so shouldn't be too bad for him. But it looks like all this went on, it looks like Massey getting out and getting this lead. Let's get a look in on our pit board. We might have to reload something. So we get our pit lap up, and we see Massey come in a lap earlier than Susie. So that was enough to get him out front, and Susie all over the back of him now, fighting tooth and nail, trying to get this lead back. But man, we were watching Massey earlier fighting through traffic, and he's going to be tough. I mean, he's up 5 spots. I don't know if you're going to get by him too easily here. And as I say that, Susie making the move right now. Man, oh man, it's tough to keep the 81 down. Here comes Massey with the old crossover. No. Stutzman on pit road now. So that relinquishes the lead over to Westerfield. He'll pick up a point at least here, and he'll be hoping for a caution. I mean, if he can get lucky and get a caution. Short field tonight, though. Not the likelihood of a caution is not great here. So it's Westerfield, Susie and Massey here battling. Then you got George in 4th. Will be 3rd when Westerfield pits. It's McCullough in 5th. James Wallace back in 6th place. Joshua Johnson in 7th. Dublé hanging around in 8th place. Matthew McCann in 9th. Jeremiah Stutzman 10th. And Figueroa must have had a problem. He is down in 11th place. John Mankowski in 12th. And Kenny McCullough Jr. has retired, I believe, after that horrible incident down in the inside wall. The 35, Jim Westerfield, does relinquish the lead and comes in. It's back to Susie and Massey fighting for the lead. It's Susie right now starting to put a little gap on Massey. Susie with Westerfield. Westerfield got fresh tires. but he just can't do anything with Susie. And that car's a little beat up, so I think Westerfield a little bit off the pace there. You see Susie trying to break the draft. Yeah, Westerfield, those tires coming up to temp now. He's going to go ahead and make that move. So Westerfield initially giving up that spot, going to come here and try and take it back. And you see those tires prevailing. So the 35 back on the lead lap, the tail end of it. He's going to have to try and make some distance up here. Susie all over him, drafting up on him. Let's get a look at another battle. Looks like Stutzman underneath Matthew McCann. So Stutzman on the fresher rubber, he's starting to come forward. Back up front, looks like Westerfield pulled away a little bit from Susie there at the tail end of the lead lap. So Susie awfully good through 1 and 2 though, my goodness. Or that's 3 and 4, my apologies. I mean, I think this is helping Massey. I mean, I know Susie getting a draft from Westerfield, but I still think it kind of messes with his lines a little bit. You got a car right in front of you. I mean, let's hop on Susie while I talk about that. Like, it's very hard to see your sight lines in the same way when you got a car right up on you. There, the vision's pretty good. He's dropped off a bit, but whenever you get closer and closer to just see your braking points, like right here, you can't see that entry out by the wall. So, you know, you can see the track down below you. Points that you might pick out, a spot on the wall, a spot on the track, something in the crowd. It's just harder to see. You see the run he gets out of 3 and 4 though, just a powerhouse through there. And what a much different angle he takes through this corner to get a better run off. But still, Westerfield better through 1 and 2, the 81 better in 3 and 4. Back to Massey's car here. Let's get a look in on Brian Dublé here. You see him way up the track out of 4. We're going to cost him a little bit. He was coming up on Stutzman, I believe, or is it Stutzman who got by him? Stutzman now looking at Joshua Johnson. He's going to go underneath. Got pretty few laps fresher tires at least. So the 71 moving up. I mean, I always like watching him. Good long run car. So Stutzman making the move. Joshua Johnson still fighting. Down 3 spots on the night to 7th place. Dublé also having a bit of a tough run in 8th. Let's get a look in on our playoff contenders, or on the championship standings, I should say. You see there Susie and Massey out front. Wallace, Westerfield. Westerfield currently shown back in the pits in 12th. What has happened to Jim Westerfield? We'll get a look in on that. So Westerfield in real danger, as is Figueroa, but he's not in the championship. It's Dublé in 8th who kind of struggling. So we got to see if we can find what happened to Jim Westerfield. See if this brings it up. I don't know. I mean, looks to me like maybe he just came in, so I'm not certain exactly why. he would come in at this point in the race, but knowing Jim, he's got some kind of strategy up his sleeve. So interesting call by the 35. Matthew George in the 50, now starting to close in a little bit. Let's look in on our last lap times. You see George, fastest man, 30.87. I mean, Stutzman's actually faster, but back in 6th place. George, the fastest up here, faster than our race leader. And boy, is he hugging the bottom through 3 and 4 there. A little different line than we've seen some of these guys run. See James Wallace currently back in 4th place. Now his times are a little off, so he's fading a little bit. Chris McCullough running pretty identical, so these two very evenly matched. It's going to be Stutzman behind them. He is catching these guys. I mean, last lap, about 3 to 4 tenths he picked up. He's picking up time on everybody, so Stutzman could be the big winner here through pit stops with that late pit stop. Currently in 6th. He'd be looking to get up into 4th at least. Stutzman has caught Chris McCullough. So Jeremiah Stutzman in the 71 continuing to march forward. He's got his hands full here with the 60, and ahead of him is going to be James Wallace. So Stutzman here making the move now, headed down into 3, looking for the line. The 60 covers him off here. He'll look to get a big run. Stutzman still can't quite get there, and that's the problem with the long run strategy is you can catch people, but can you pass them? These three doing battle here for 4th, 5th, and 6th place. check on Jim Westerfield. He has made it back on the track. Currently showing in 12th place, though. He's in tough. Back up front, Susie. Massey back here in second. Matthew George in third. You can see Massey just ahead. James Wallace in fourth. And he is part of that battle that we're focusing on here. Stutzman now backed off a little bit. I'm not sure if his car is starting to go away or he's just waiting for another opportunity to kind of cool those tires down and make another run at it here. Stutzman finally getting there in the inside position. Gonna drive underneath the 60. The 60 pinching him down there or holding his line. They're gonna come off the corner and Stutzman looks like he might get it down into one, but the fight rages on. Stutzman off the throttle a little more than the 60. The 60 trying to hold that high side. He will. They'll come off. They'll drag race down into 3. It is so hard to pass here. Stutzman, a little wiggle. Had to get out of it. Back in it. He's fighting. That little awkward move actually might have helped his run off. Strong run off the bottom that time. The 60's still there, though. Man, oh man, is a 60 running a high line there. Stutzman swings up, though, in front. So Jeremiah Stutzman gets it done. Move him up to 5th place. He's going to set his sights now on James Wallace. Up front, let's take out the progress. It's Susie. He's still 2 seconds now over Massey as Massey's fading a little bit. Matthew George right there trying to close in and take that spot. Behind him, Mark Figueroa. Figueroa at least a lap down, one lap down on our standings. Then it's a ways back to James Wallace, Stutzman, and McCullough. Joshua Johnson back in 7th place. Dublé is in 8th. McCann right behind him in 9th. So Dublé is in a bit of a hurt as far as the playoffs go. He's got to at least hang on to this spot, try to get another one if he can, but he's got to hold off McCann, and I don't think he can do it from what we're seeing here. Matthew McCann driving the low line. Dublé way up the track, going to get a huge run off the corner. He's going to hold him off for now on that high side. focus back there. Stutzman actually passed James Wallace. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. See there, off of 2. Good drive low by the 71. Stutzman gets that entry down into 3. And bam, he's around. The 51 being a little pretty generous there. Ooh, and he's loose. So then the 51 battles back. Stutzman couldn't complete it. He's going to have to do it all over again, heading down into 1. Here comes the 60. This is all on replay, folks. They go down here through 1 again. And another great run through the middle of the corner by the 71. This time, and here comes the 60 with a mammoth run. My goodness, he had to back out of it there. So the 71 finally completes it. Let's go back to live action here. Surprised McCullough hasn't come through the way he was coming back there. But he's still behind James Wallace here. This is the battle for 5th and 6th place. Stutzman now in 4th. So Stutzman again up 7 spots. I mean, what a run he has, and what a great time to get by him here as we approach that halfway mark, and I'm pretty sure we'll get a flag here and have our stage winner here in about any lap now. I'd say probably 2 more laps, and we'll have a stage winner, and that winner is going to be Susie, but you give credit to Massey hanging in there under 2 seconds behind here, as is George. I mean, these 2 guys have been doing a great job all year long, and here they are again tonight. Oh, and George loose. Can he hang on? He does. Wow, he almost lost that down to the inside wall, did Matthew George. All right, so Susie has taken the lap 84 flag. And we'll see here.
All right, man.
And there it is. Stage is over. So he'll come in first. Susie first. Massey second. George in 3rd. Stutzman 4th. Wallace 5th. McCullough 6th. Johnson 7th. McCann will be in 8th. And Dublé and Mankowski round out your top 10. Figueroa Westerfield and Kenny McCullough Jr. will be out of the points here. So these are big stage points wins. And Susie, I mean, you know, he's virtually locking himself in. Even if he doesn't win, get another 10 bonus points, has a big lead. He's going to be in your final 4. That's almost a guarantee at this point. Massey and George looking good. Let's again look at our championship stats here. So it's Massey, George not in the playoffs. So George, you know, at 3rd place, and neither is Stutzman. So you got James Wallace. He's currently in 4th place or 5th place. And then it's Chris McCullough, currently in 6th place. Johnson 7th, and you got Dublé back here in 8th in the standings, 8th or 9th on the track. So it's really Westerfield who's having the bad night. And McCann, you know, if I left McCann out of all this stuff, I mean, McCann's hanging in there, and he is currently showing 8th place on the track. So it's going to be close, folks, as we get down. I mean, it's only race 1 of this round, but all these points hyper important here as you see everybody on pit road. Down and away, Massey coming, but no, Susie going to beat him out. George 3rd. Looks like Wallace, Johnson, McCann, Dublé. Is that Stutzman limping out of the garage late? So Stutzman got some stage points, but back he goes. I mean, it's kind of what he likes to do. I don't think he likes the traffic early. He's just going to linger around there, save some tires. And Chris McCullough on pit road here, very interesting. Not sure what's going on with the 60 machine. He's got to be careful though. Let's see from the blimp here. Try a chopper. I mean, McCann right there. Susie's coming to the start-finish line. McCullough's got to get going. It's too late. Chris McCullough going to go a lap down here on pit road. So that's interesting. Mikowski's in. Figueroa's in. But something has happened with the 60 of Chris McCullough. That is so unfortunate here. Looks like Lucky Dog going to be the 35 of Jim Westerfield. If that's not a wave round, that might be a wave round he's waiting on. That'd be interesting. He did pit. He made that off-sequence pit, so I think the 35 going to get a wave round here. Super interesting. So now people have had a chance to adjust on their cars. We'll see if anybody can do something. As you see, Jim Westerfield coming around, taking that wave around, so he'll come back around to the tail end. But he's going to need help. Boy, he needs a caution, because I think if we look in on the pit board, you'll see at Westerfield, last pitted on lap 55, so we're 30 laps into the run. He definitely needs some help and a lucky caution. But up front here with Susie, Massey, George, Wallace, I've been close all night. Joshua Johnson has shown some flashes of having some early speed. So, I mean, any adjustments and stuff could help these guys. Can be interesting to see what they got for Susie. Here we go. Pace truck is off. Susie gonna lead him down. He's got Massey coming there. George with a great start. Massey not so good in second. Matthew George is gonna come through and take second place away from Massey. Oh, and it's Johnson loose down on the apron. McCann coming up on the high side around him. Behind him, it looks like Stutzman right there. Nowhere to go. Stutzman's gonna, take his time here and wait. Dublé way up the track. And it looks like that 57 made some adjustments. Maybe loosen that thing up too much. She's wobbling pretty good right now. So McCann, the big winner here so far, up a couple of spots since these pit stops already. The 53 currently shown in 5th place. Joshua Johnson trying to keep a handle on that car, fighting off Stutzman. Up front, Susie got all he can as Massey has come back up around George and driving all over the back of the 81. I'm thinking that George is probably laying off a bit, thinking he needs some long run speed. He sees what's happened out here during those first runs. You know, we've got 76 laps left. You're going to have to split that. You're looking at about 40 lap runs here. You know, they got to be good for all 40. But right now, Massey up here, hounding, looking for the lead. Oh, and it's Susie, loose, controlling it, fighting it. And he is going to drop back to 4th place. Susie in big trouble. Here comes Stutzman, Johnson. They're coming underneath. Susie loses 2 more. There goes McCann. Wow, drama on the track as Joshua Susie is broken loose. You don't see that every day. The 81 falling all the way back for a battle for 6th spot. That is huge. Stephen Massey, your new race leader. Now out here. George in 2nd. Wallace in 3rd. These guys all alone. I don't know if Susie can even catch back up. He's got traffic to deal with. Don't forget about Stutzman. He's now in 4th after pit stops. He come out about 9th. So Stutzman got some early track position. He's used to getting it later. This could be good for the 71 as well. Joshua Johnson right in there hanging in. And then Susie behind him with McCann. I mean, my goodness, that Susie getting loose like that. I mean, it was a great save, but he lost several spots on the track. Up front, it's heating up a bit. George starting to put some pressure on, and Wallace right there. Massey hanging on to the lead. Matthew George right there stalking him. And I like what George is doing. He's getting in there tight. And he's making Massey just a little bit loose through the center part of the corner. It's going to make him burn up his stuff just a little bit. And I think that's purposeful, what you're seeing George do here. And this is what you got to do against good drivers. Get up there and bother them a little bit. Disturb that air off the rear. Don't forget about James Wallace in the 51. He's been hanging around all night, and he is sitting there. Oh, here we go for the lead. George down to the inside. Man, he made that look easy. Put the 50 of Matthew George on the point as these 3 front runners could be thrown under a blanket. Let's not forget about Susie. Now only 1.75 seconds back. Susie closing, but does he have to burn up the stuff to get there is the question. Lap 100 now complete of 167. It's George, Massey, and Wallace. Here comes Wallace. He's underneath Massey here. Gets a good drive off the corner. He's going to be in good shape heading down into 3. Massey rolling the high side, particularly good there. You're too close to call up the line. Can he get it done here before George walks away a bit? Yes. Put James Wallace up to second place. But Massey not done. He tries to crossover, the late crossover. He's down into 3 with preferred position. And now up the track goes Wallace. There's nothing he could do about it there, so he's going to have to file in here. This is only helping Susie. Susie already coming into your picture. So Joshua Susie's coming, and he's bringing Jeremiah Stutzman with him. This is going to be a 5-car battle here. George getting by again. Or, yeah, Matthew George. So he got by Massey one more time, and now he's opening up a little bit. Pushing up the track. He's looking for racing room. Swings down low. He's trying to grab position on the 51 of Wallace. He's going to have the preferred line, but can he drive off? Yes, he's going to grab it. So Susie now up to 3rd. Our leaders have to be concerned. Figueroa coming on to pit road. So Mark Figueroa, not having the best night tonight, is going to come in, be one of the first pitters here with 62 to go. Out front, George, Massey, Susie, and Wallace slugging it out. See the progress of Susie now a little inhibited. He's burned up a little bit of his stuff getting there. He gets a nice entry there, closed in on Massey a little bit, but still not making the progress that he was. And he's got Wallace all over the back end of him, so he's in he's in a tough spot here. He's got to really start thinking about pit strategy, as they all do. I mean, I'm not sure what you like, but I know it's pretty tough to pass as this run goes along, so I'd be apt to short pit here and get back out there. But pit stop's still a good 10 to 20 laps away. Looks like Mankowski had a little trip through a little piece of grass there, but he's going to be fine. Massey's starting to come back on George now. George continues to exit these corners really low. I like it for tire wear and I like it for smoothness, but doesn't look like it's the fastest way out of these corners right now. Jim Westerfield back in the pits. Now, if you remember, Westerfield had about 30 lap older tires, so no choice from the 35. He had to come in. Been a real tough night for Jim Westerfield. Matthew George still leading. Massey second, Susie third, Wallace fourth, Stutzman fifth, all in your frame there. John Mankowski comes in as well, so the 93 coming in from 9th place. Right now, George and Massey starting to walk away a little bit. They're probably better off not fighting here. I don't know if Massey's looking to make a move or not, but if he does, it's only going to bring Susie and Wallace right back into the picture. Down close to pit stop time. 50 laps to go here, or 51. I'm not sure these guys are going to pit for probably another 10 plus laps, but the window is open, it brings an interesting opportunity, you know, for one of these guys. If you're not in the race, I mean, why not? Why not come in here? You're not in the points chase. Come in and give it a shot. I mean, you're not going to come in from the lead or second probably, but I don't know, maybe if you're Jeremiah Stutzman, for instance, good long run driver, you come in early, get out there, you know, turn some medium laps while you save tire, you're still going to gain speed, you're still going to have the lead by the time when these guys pit. So it'd be an interesting call, but we'll see if anybody decides to do it. Looks like Mankowski might have retired for the evening. George, your leader. Massey second. Susie third. Wallace fourth. They got Jim Westerfield, I should say, in here now. He's going to come on the outside of the 81. And he's going to come through these guys quite quickly on those new tires. up underneath our leader, Matthew George. So Westerfield grabs a lap back. I don't think that puts him on the lead lap. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, and Massey, a big run there. That's a little stutter from George. And I think Westerfield's still 2 laps down at this point. So he is in a bit of trouble, to say the least. Five laps to go here in the Texas 150, trying to get into the final. These guys battling tooth and nail for this win. Let's take another quick look at our points. So George leading this race here tonight, not in the championship hunt. Massey is. This would be a nice solid run for him, but if he could get the win, he'd be locked in. Wallace is there. Westerfield struggling. Joshua Johnson currently 6th place. McCann up to 5th. Chris McCullough is out of this race in 12th spot. Dublé back in 7th. Oh, and we got Susie coming in. So Susie, perhaps listening to the broadcast, has decided to come in. I like the call. Didn't expect it from Susie, but he's a perfect guy to do this. He is going to come out. I mean, assuming the other guys stay on the track for even a few laps, he most certainly will have the lead. And those guys will have to pass him. So if I'm George or Massey, I'm coming in now. I'm covering this off as they go by so they do not come in. Looking Susie, he's down and away. Good stop for the 81. Back up front to George and Massey. I think now's the time. They got to get in these pits if they got any chance of coming out in front of Susie when it's all said and done here. And George looking like he's coming in very aggressive. I like it. Great entrance there from Matthew George. So that's going to be a powerful entrance. He could possibly do it. Stutzman also coming in. Good entrance by him as well. Up front, it's Massey once again. So the 97 reassumes the lead. McCann now in 2nd. McCann's having a nice quiet evening here. And I think he is, he's going to get himself a solid enough finish here to get up into the top 4 or be close enough to hang around for the next 2 races. Joshua Johnson shown in 3rd place. Brian Dublé now up to 4th. George coming off of pit road. Stutzman coming off. Susie's already going by, so Susie is beat them out by quite a bit. The undercut paying off for the 81. George, you can see him there. That's quite a distance. Still not up to speed. And he's also got Johnson in front of him he's got to deal with. So George, I mean, he's got fresher tires. This will reel in Susie a bit, but we're looking at a 3-second gap to one of the best drivers out here. Brian Dublé coming in now. So the 11, the big stop for him. He's got to make something happen on the next run. Massey continuing out here. He cannot stay out. He needs a caution if he's going to get a win here. This long stay out here as we're under 40 to go, I just don't see it paying off for him. I mean, he has got to come in, this lap or next if he's got any hope whatsoever. Joshua Johnson on pit road. In the cockpit of the 97. Oh, and it's an aggressive entrance. I like it. Stephen Massey down onto pit road. Nice solid entrance there from the 97. We'll see how much time he's lost over those few laps he stayed out. You see Susie. He is coming through too. Still a ways to go. There's George. George already reeling off about a second on Susie. Back up to Susie. Where is Massey? Susie coming to the line. Massey down and away. Susie already by. Right now, we see Massey somewhere here. He's already passed Massey. Massey's still coming off a pit lane. So that is a huge chunk of change that he has lost. McCann relinquishes the lead. He's in. Susie back out front now officially. So great decision from the 81, showing you why he's the points leader. You know, not only on the track can he drive fast, but he's thinking fast. Made that short pit. He's got about 2 seconds back to Matthew George. George with a couple lap fresher tires. James Wallace. Let's get a look in and see when James Wallace pitted here. Wallace was on 122, so he kind of short pitted there, and you know, it just didn't work out for Wallace. He was actually in a lap before Susie. So Wallace there is in a bit of trouble as this run goes along. Stutzman, he's in 4th right now. And then Massey, my goodness, all the way back to 5th for him. Right now, we'll throw it on the most exciting again as we take a short little break here, and we'll return for the conclusion of this race from Texas Motor Speedway in the Elite Championship Racing League. back to the action at hand. 21 laps to go. George right there fighting with Susie. He's got the fresher tires. Can he come down a long run, chase down the 81 and take him down? If anybody can do it, I think Matthew George is the man. Moving to the inside. The 81 just beats him there and kind of closes it off. But George continuing to look. I'm telling you, getting there is one thing. You know, as these laps tick away, it gets harder and harder to pass. And even though you're maybe a tenth faster, getting around a guy, wow, almost impossible. He's there, pushing him. Just a little high there, a little strange exit there is going to cost him about a car length. Gives a chance to see where everybody is. Massey in third right now. Stutzman, and remember, Massey pitted way late, so he's probably still coming. We'll check that in a minute. There's Stutzman. He's having himself a good night. James Wallace was having a really good night. Having an okay one here in 5th place. McCann, solid run, 6th place. It's Johnson and Dublé. They're going to battle it out for 7th and 8th place. Westerfield, a couple laps down, Figueroa, Mankowski. But back up here, it's Susie and George. And let's get a look in on the lap times here. You see Susie at 31:30. But Massey at 31:15 and Stutzman at 31:19. We'll see this time by. 31:22 from our leader. That's a great time. Massey a little bit quicker. Stutzman falling off a bit. So still Massey coming. George right there. Susie, 17 to go. He seems to be inching back away from George, but George could be getting ready for another run here. That time by, it's Stutzman. And actually McCann, one of the fastest guys on the track right now, as he looks in on James Wallace here. McCann looking to move up to 5th. McCann was the last guy to pit, so he's got some better rubber here. We'll see if he can get a good run and get up here. Got to get back to our lead though and see how this is going. See Stutzman back here, still within range, and he's the fastest man right now. Very interesting as we come down to 14 to go. That time Susie a 31:29. George a little slower. Massey a little faster. Stutzman a little faster. Everything's starting to even out here. Massey's still coming though. I mean, he is closing. He ran a 31:17 last time by. Stutzman too. Those are the two fastest on the track. But Massey's closest. Stutzman about 3 seconds behind him. Massey with a 31.0 that time puts him right here. Stephen Massey. I thought he stayed out too long. Of course, I'm usually wrong. He is in this battle as we approach 10 to go. Massey has got to cool his tires a bit and get ready to do battle. You see what a run he gets off of 4. He's coming in on George in a hurry. Will George let him by? It doesn't look like it. He's going to make him earn this one. And you see right there, center of the corner, so much better. Almost contact, gets underneath. What a move by the 97, Stephen Massey. Now, going to get through 1. He's going to be up to second place, although, let's not count it, pinching down. George gets loose. Will he come down? No. Great job of hanging on to that thing, my goodness. Matthew George not willing to give up that spot. What a fight. Stephen Massey now in second, 9 to go. He's got about 1.3 to make up. Let's see here over this next lap. You know, maybe give him 2 here. See if he's making up any ground on our leader. Give George a lot of credit, hanging right there with Massey as of right now. Hard to shake off the 50 tonight. He's had a nice run. Across the line, Susie a 31.35. Massey a little bit slower, a 31.26 for our leader. 31.41 for Massey. So Massey slowing down at the wrong time here. That battle heating up those tires, and it's looking more and more like Susie, our point leader, gonna punch his ticket in here and call it official. It wouldn't surprise anyone if that was to happen. Very consistent times from our leader. Massey matches them. Both of them run a 31.28. Not going to be enough to catch anybody. 7 to go. 1.4 seconds. He's going to have to put 2/10 a lap on him, plus make a move. I can't see it happening, but it looks like Massey's finding some room here. Got that distance that it takes to kind of get that speed up now. That time, a 1/10.5 for Massey. So he is closing. 6 to go. Can Massey dig deep and find something here? That time, just a 2/100ths faster was Massey. Not enough to close in. Now 1.3 and that 1.35 to our leader. 5 to go for Susie. Can Joshua Susie keep that thing pointed straight? We've seen him get loose early on in the race. Meanwhile, let's look back at another battle. You got Joshua Johnson back here in 7th. Dublé in 8th. Can Dublé get up here and take this spot away from Johnson? Both these guys playoffs, so big point here. I mean, not ultimately necessary here. They're both going to be in the battle going into the next 2 tracks. Back up to Massey, see if he's making any progress here. 400ths last time by. George actually a little faster than him. You can visibly see him closing in. It's just not enough here with 3 to go. coming down to 2 to go for our race leader, Joshua Susi. Susi with a 31.48. Massey 31.28. Couple of tenths there. He's under a second. Just running out of time so quick. Susi here on the final lap, down into 3, the 81, persevering with the short pit, the great pit decision. Susi gonna come home, your race winner, and punch his ticket to the final. Massey, second place. Matthew George will be third. Stutzman was solid fourth place tonight. Wallace gonna take fifth. McCann with a quiet evening in sixth position. Joshua Johnson, 7th. Dublé, 8th. Westerfield, 9th. And it's going to be Figueroa in the garage and a couple others. But there you see Massey congratulating the 81 of Joshua Susi. Just another great performance by him. He's been great all season long. He'll now be in the finals. I mean, it's just been it's been a treat to watch him this year and his ability to make every circumstance work. We've seen him get loose. He dropped at like 7th place or something. It was early in the run he got loose, and in the last run, and you know he just battled back. And when he's in 4th, he thought, well, what's the best thing to do? Let's short pit, and he made it work. Just an awesome decision. Let's quickly get a look in on the updated championship here. And you can see there, Dublé picks up a spot. The points, Massey getting a solid night. Wallace, solid night for him. Westerfield hangs on to 4th, but I mean, it narrows. Johnson picks up points. McCann picks up points. Dublé picks up points. McCullough, really rough night for him. He's going to lose some points. Down in 8th place. He's almost in a must-win situation now. You know, as we look forward on the schedule, we're going to have, I know, Martinsville on the schedule, Kansas up next. So those two tracks going to be what these guys are looking forward to get their ticket punched into the finale. So they're going to have to beat Susi, and he's going to be tough to beat. There's no doubt about it. We'll have all the coverage. Brad will be back, I'm sure, next week, and we'll have some great coverage next Sunday, 8 p.m. But for myself, Dean Doucette, it's going to wrap it up here from Texas Motor Speedway, and we'll catch you all right here next time on Full Throttle TV.